Hey there everyone, all the amazing pioneering souls out there. Welcome to another video of mine. I haven't been making, them in a while now. And I've even received a question like, if I'm okay since I didn't make one for a while. And it's kind of like a clear sign that we all need to let go of expectations of, this feeling that there's something wrong if we're not coming through the way others expected or the way we expected to. This is a clear indication in our lives what still needs to be looked under. And that is true. I was focusing more on my writing and I was releasing a lot. We were all releasing intensely during the last 2 months. Not 2 months, well, yeah, but 2 weeks, especially during the time when the Mercury went retrograde, from retrograde to direct again. And it's still in a time of in its shadow. So things like I feel it are still being revealed to us ever since it's coming out of this phase on December 14, 15, something like that. So if you want to check out these updates, there's a short, tiny calendar on my webpage. It's like an Ascension compass. I will be updating all the, events, like global events, nothing major, just something that can help you as a compass on your path. But in this video, I would like to focus on being and living as a fully authentic being, because this is what's coming through. And for me, this is what Ascension is about. Ascension, as many describe it, is not something complicated. It's actually a simple process when we are shedding old beliefs of separation, of duality, the dense layers of who we truly are not. We are stepping into a full beingness. We are welcoming who we truly are. And for me, there were many changes in this area. For instance, that message that applied, if there's anything wrong, if I'm not making videos, it's just spirit energy flows differently. For instance, when I'm releasing, I don't go. I don't no longer feel the need to do if I'm not invited to, through my spirit self, because I'm working continuously and feeling the merging of my spirit and human self. They're not separate. They're one. They're working in perfect unison. And sometimes we all get invites from others. People tell us we would like this or please do this. And now we're stepping into a time when we fully are strengthening this. We see this as an opportunity, as a trigger to show us how strong we truly are in trusting ourselves, our inner guidance first, even though others might perceive it as something different. But we know, and it's always about our inner knowing, and it's about feeling the sacredness of this inner knowing. So for me, when I'm not making videos, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me, because it's not about me. It's not about my personal life, although I do share through personal experiences as well. But it's about me expressing myself through sharing. I realized many intense things during this time period, and there were really everything was how it was supposed to be. I wasn't recording because I needed more to be in myself, and I love writing. Mostly, I consider myself better in writing. My English is more fluent in writing. I'm not a native language of English speaker. So I prefer writing sometimes, and writing connects me to my inner source. So I do as I'm invited to, So I invite everyone not to make assumptions as such, to just be in your inner knowing, be in your inner space, that everything is always as it's supposed to be. And as we're shifting, even though we're sometimes here to guide others along the process, we can only do that by sharing. For instance, I never experienced myself, I never felt myself as a teacher. I am not a teacher. Sometimes people tag me as such, people label me and write me all sorts of things like, if I'm a teacher, I'm supposed to be doing things like this and that. And I'm like, no, when did I ever say I'm a teacher? I'm an authentic, emerging human divine being, and I'm here to share. And the only aspect of when we truly come into our authentic essence is sharing. We can only help to share in a way, assist through sharing in a way that others might feel uplifted. And we're making a difference only by being. So first of all, I'm not a teacher. That is, for me, the term of the old. There's a lot of language terms that are moving and dissolving right now. We kind of, sometimes when I notice myself speaking, when I'm observing myself, constantly I'm in this mode. I'm just pure consciousness flowing through me, and I'm observing these words, and they're so limiting sometimes. And I want to express, I have this desire to express myself just purely authentically. Not through, these words sometimes are so limiting, and yet I'm writing them, and yet I'm the one who feels that sometimes I have the urge to write these messages from the divinity of my own inner source. I call this sourcing. But sometimes even when I write something, it's like, it's already labeled, it's already, is described in words. And sometimes when we feel our full self, we see that things are so sacred, they cannot be explained. So a lot of the old labels are falling off. And for instance, I observe this, that people who will label me actually still believe in labels in their own life. They're still labeling things. They're still categorizing things. They're still believing in separation. So we're not just our human self and we're not just our spirit self. You know, a lot of people still live in their heads. They're living this is called spiritual ego. And I'm going to talk about this in my next video because it's a very important topic. A lot of these old patterns coming from the spiritual ego, which is the most stubborn one. And a lot of people have really difficulties in letting this go. And it's just something that really needs to be emphasized. And that is resurfacing now in the area when the what is it? We have the Scorpio energies resurfacing, and it's how it is. But my main focus when I started Ascension Pioneers was always about sharing myself, sharing my true essence. And a lot of you might have come to this point in your life when as you experienced this sharing, while you did it, you were kind of categorized through what you do. And people do that a lot of times because they still operate from the mind. They think it's the heart, but some things are so deeply rooted in our core that we believe. We believe that it's our truth. And in fact, it's not. It's not coming from our divine self. Our divine self never speaks to us through words of separation, labels. You know, for instance, if someone would write to me, and we'll talk about this in my next video called Spiritual Ego. I'll give a few examples. But for now, if someone would write to me in a way, you do things like this and that, I'm observing you should do, I feel obliged to tell you this and that. You know, they're just someone who is actually not seeing and recognizing their own mirror, because sometimes the guidance we give to others, that is not really guidance because no one asked us to. We're just interfering with their own journey without, you know, really asking them. You know, we're not sharing through kindness, we're sharing through opinions, and that is spiritual ego reflected to us. And we don't even recognize it. But you know, if we would really be in that experience, what is there for us to see? It's not about others. It's about what we can learn through this experience. How can we remember even more to hold that light of inner authenticity? And that is what is coming to the surface now. For me, in this period, I was really challenged to just stay me, to stay neutral and observant, to stay in my real self. And sometimes I felt that there are still old beliefs that are there. They're not really mine. For instance, this belief that I shattered was the belief that I'm here for others and a conduit and to serve. And I felt that ever since I was little, I was always the helper. You know, I gave advice and everyone came to me and everybody was so kind. I was always the giver. But now I'm remembering my true self. I feel these patterns and they feel yucky and they're not me. And yucky, it's just a word. It's just how we describe it through our filters. But still, it's something there that is not fully resonating. So whenever you would feel that in yourself, is to ask you, what can I do to shift more deeply into how I would really like to do things? How I really believe through my spirit self, not what my mind has been convincing me for so long. And you will notice the difference, and I'll read about this from my notes because I was focusing more on writing, so I'll read a bit, and I'll also read from Kara Shalek's notes because I really resonate with her. She's a dear friend. She wrote some awesome stuff lately. So how you would really observe that, it's very simple. The moment you start defending something, you know, for instance, for me it was, but I have such responsibility towards this. You don't understand. And in fact, I don't. I have the only responsibility I have is for me, and I can only share, and I can only be here to empower myself, to help others see their own inner empowerment, their own gentleness, through their own spirit, their own inner guidance. Also, the way of the new is not giving anyone advice or thinking you can help them, thinking you're so good that you can give them guidance. It's not really that. We can share spirit messages with one another. But in fact, truly, we can only speak what we feel about us on this path through our own inner spirit. If they resonate, if it's also coming through them, through their own inner self, then it's good for them. But in a way to give guidance, it's not a way of the new. Everyone now needs to find their own inner source. For me, I oftentimes see people write to me, they fall into this feeling of being codependent, you know, being dependent upon me and my guidance. And I don't want this. I do not wish for this. It's not my intent. Everything I write is purely just to share. If someone reads it, fine. If someone does not, good. If no one does, perfect. I really don't care. We really continuously need to let go of everything, of every desire, need, expectation. There's a lot of people who say, but I've been doing so much. You know, I've been putting all the energy and intent out there and I'm still not getting money. I'm still not making abundance through what I'm doing. And the only thing I can say, well, drop the expectation, drop the need to do it for the money. Do what you love doing, and then abundance will come. I was watching a video from Elizabeth Harper. She does amazing divine oracle every week. She has guests. She gets guests on her show every week. And this week there was a message about abundance that at the end of the video, the woman who was hosted said, you know what, when we do what we truly love, then the abundance flows. Can you notice that? And it's true. You will also notice that maybe abundance, you're blocking it when you're not fully living from your authentic core, when you're doing things the way others want you to, or your old belief thinks you need to do it in that way, or others in your direct surrounding. It doesn't really matter. Also, what you will notice is you will defend a pattern. You'll say, oh, but I need to do this, and you'll become very defensive. And whenever we're defending something, it's actually really something we're still not seeing and willing to let it go. So anyway, this is my introduction. Now I'll be focusing more on reading a lot of the things, and I have a few messages that I feel are really important to share here as we're with an intense shift. There's a lot of things happening, and I will also make a 2012 video. You know, this is 2012. It has been for the entire year. But the December solstice, the alignment, and the fear of darkness, I've been writing about this. You can still see that. I have many articles now because I was focusing so much on that. But for now, I would like to share some strong spirit messages coming through my own spirit guidance. But firstly, I would like to encourage all of you to connect your own guidance. A lot of the people still write to me in a sense of, well, can you confirm these people? Can you really tap into that? Can you tell me if that resonates with you? Well, does it really matter if it resonates with me? Because you have to know you're on your own path, your own timeline. You're not me. We're one. But remember, we are so beautiful, so unique that why would you really need to, you know, me to confirm your authenticity? In fact, your true divine beingness doesn't need any validation. It's all about the experience. Your true divine self doesn't need validation of that experience. The experience in itself is what it matters, and it needs no such thing. You're free. And the whole thing about living as a fully authentic being is about freedom of being. So this is what Ascension for me is about. So I'll be reading a few messages that I got. Like I said, I encourage you to tap into your own guidance, and I'll be sharing with you what is also very important in this path, okay? Stay with me if you're so guided. So the first message I got was to remain in our inner knowing, because the truth can only be found there, not somewhere externally. We are to remain receptive from within and switch from external sources to the only inner source there is, our beloved I am. This is what Ascension is about. Know that the truth is simple, and it does not come through in a complicated way and with a lot of detail. It does not leave you thirsty for more. It simply reminds you of what is there already. For me, lately, I'm really guided not to really read a lot. I'm just not watching any videos, because people are always constantly sending me stuff. I love you all. I really do. I can't see all the videos. I'm not guided to see all the videos. There's nothing personal about that. It's just me really choosing to always be me. When we're not aligned with our spirit, what we also can feel is we get very cranky, agitated. We might feel there's so much to do. There's so much pressure. When you really connect, you see there's nothing. There's no pressure. Everything flows. If something resonates, if it comes to you, if you're guided to read it, to see it, yeah. If it doesn't, let it go. You're not missing out on anything, because all is here anyway. Always, okay? So there is actually a lot of chaos and confusion happening around the long anticipated date of the December solstice on the 21st. And the less that we feed it through our awareness, the more we feed our own inner reality. And that is what is really important now, to feed and nourish ourselves through our inner spirit. This is how we strengthen the collective through pure intent. The energy will always go where we will allow it to flow. That is one of the basic energy principles. So the second message is about shifting in our life path. Just today, I picked up after a while. I'm not even using oracle cards lately, but I will read a message at the end of the video. Fertility. So this is what is happening. We're really choosing and placing new seeds of awareness and then creating from them. But I just got this, pull to pick one card today, and it was about shift, the transition in what I do, what we do. I felt it as a collective message, and shortly after that, I was just, my fingers were running and they were writing these messages, and I felt these are the strongest things we're working on. Not working on them, but embracing them, because they're already there. They're already there in awareness. We're just collecting them and anchoring them through our bodies. That is what I've been emphasizing the entire year. So there was a message in career transition and our life path transition. And there's a strong shift happening in all that we do because of fully embodying who we truly are. And remember, we're not what we do, but our doingness will always reflect who we are when we are fully authentic. We're not what we do, and our true purpose lies in being. That's the whole thing. When we shift to our full authentic self, so does our entire life path. There is a transition in our purpose occurring, and we only need to be patient and remain in our center through a neutral observation, because a lot of the people might ask themselves, I don't know when to act and when not to act. I don't trust myself. What do I do? You know, a lot of the people seek guidance in that way because they still lack that trust. That whatever they do, and it's not about you fearing that the mind will influence you, because the mind is also an aspect of divinity. Nothing is separate. So even if the mind will cause you to make a certain decision, or it will come more from that state of awareness, it will still serve a purpose for you to learn something. So you see, when the moment we shift to that neutral observation, we will see that everything has reason, meaning, and a place in your divine timing. It means your timeline, where you are, where you choose to be, because everything is about the freedom of choice. So when we shift to our full authentic self, so does our entire life path, because we are our purpose. You know, it's not something that we do. So there is a transition in our purpose occurring, and we only need to be patient and remain in our center through neutral observation. We are to act only when it is truly coming from our inner spirit, and we can feel this through our heart. So if it feels right, and you will notice it just feels right, we act. If it doesn't, then we don't. It's as simple as that. And if we're guided to take no action at all for a while, and we might feel guilty because we're not doing anything, you know, that's sometimes was a pattern that I was noticing. I was feeling guilty to just, you know, enjoy pure comforts of life. And it's really not our true self. You know, we're here to experience, and we will know what we wish to experience. You know, it'll come through neutral, such a natural state of being. You know, it's really natural to us because we are very natural beings. You know, it's how we were created. So it's the right action to take if we wish to take no action, and we're not supposed to feel any sorts of guilt, shame, blame, nothing as such. We are shifting from human doings to human beings, and I've been talking about this as well. And thirdly, we're asked to step into our inner self-empowerment as powerful co-creators. We have been working on peeling off those dense layers that are not of the real self this entire journey, and especially this year. And as we move further along this alignment, everything is quickening. You know, it's like now, it's like every day is the day of the shift. And it's really amazing to see that speed occurring within us. Now it's time to gather and strengthen who we truly are, and that which has come to the surface when all of the old was being transformed with the light of the truth. So through mindless and mindful awareness, both are really important here. We are remembering who we truly are this entire time, and now we're being asked to fully bring this knowing into direct embodiment. We are merging our spirit and human self through the awareness of oneness, as we now know that they're not separate, and they never were. We always exist in perfect unison with everything in creation, and now it's time to take place in it. Our I am, and remember, some people still don't know what the I am means. It's not the little I, it is the I am that I am, your full presence of your divinity. So people who might comment, oh, you know, drop the I, it's the ego. It's not the ego self, you know. There's not everyone who is aware of this yet, this divinity, your source, I am. So forgive those who do not know, but cherish your own inner knowing about this. So like I said, our I am already is aware. Every aspect of creation is already aware of its place. It's just that, you know, as it is aware of this uniqueness of its expression, sometimes the human part needs to follow that. And now our human part is anchoring this awareness as well. We're becoming who we truly are as divine human beings. We're not just divine beings. We're not just human beings. We're all of it. We're all that is. You know, we just need to allow ourselves to express ourselves fully. I will give some insights into what sorts of activation you can do. I was doing it with the client, with the Divine Companion this week. We were making a short light activation at the end, and something came through that can assist you. And I'll share this, how you can do this at the end. And like I said, we're becoming who we truly are as divine human beings. And this is what really matters, the awareness of all, of your totality, of your completion. Our purpose here on earth is about to enter into a new stage. And sometimes we just feel this. I've been feeling this the entire year. I've even been saying to my beloved that ever since we will meet, things will start shifting. And it's true. Ever since he walked into my life, and we have been walking this reunion, and we're walking through it as we go along this journey, things that are of the old are just falling apart, because now there's no more such thing as just me or just him. It's things that are merging, and we're doing things anew, and we're going to create new things, you know, together. because it is a part, you know, a path that is of together, of the two beloveds sharing their journey. And a lot of things I was doing alone, I really needed to let go. You know, this was my part here that I can share with you, how it was for me and how it still is for me. So I've oftentimes felt that what I do was here serving a certain purpose at a certain time, and I was called to do it through my being. It was not ego. It was real spirit guidance. But now the spirit guidance is changing. A lot of the times people might categorize this in such a way that if something doesn't fit anymore, then it was from the ego. It's not true. It was always of the spirit. Everything is of the spirit. Like I say, even if it's coming through the filter of the mind, it's still always coming through spirit. And that is why my light activation is about. Your inner ray, your I am ray, always directs everything in your direct experience. It flows through you. All you need to do is allow that ray to penetrate to you, through you, to transcend everything. That is not that of that ray. I mean, the perception of it, because it already is so anyway. It's all you are. So that is what we have been waiting for. We haven't been really waiting. We were not passive, but we were flowing with it. You know, we were working with it. So are you ready? We all really are changing so much, and change always comes from within to without. So we were really releasing, and we still continue to release, and it's like the days are passing, you know, towards the 12-12-12 portal, the gateway of light. And we were all being confronted with our deepest shadow aspects. You know, I shared some of mine, you know, those beliefs. One of those beliefs was also, oh, it's too good to be true what's happening to me, because I was still associating with the past. Hurt wounded me in a way, in a very small way. There might be a tiny aspect of you, and the moment you associate it with, like, make it a whole big picture, you forget who you are. It's not about the whole big picture. It's about a tiny droplet that's maybe still there, that's preventing you from moving on, from fully expressing yourself as you truly are, and recognize what is the belief and what is your true self. The belief will always be defended. You will be holding on to it. Your true self, authentic self, is fluid. It always goes. It doesn't even need to adapt to change, because the word adapt, you know, to adapt already implies control. It just naturally observes everything and flows with it. Because it in itself is changing, it's shifting. The only constant is change. So the last full moon and everything that's been going on, and it's going on until the next new moon, which occurs on the 13th of December, which is in perfect unison and alignment with the Mercury going out of the shadow. And then we also have, I think, some other things that are happening. I don't have my calendar here, but it's like so much is really aligning. And when you see those, it's not just about the dates, it's about everything coming together in numerology, in alignment, synchronistically. For instance, when you truly are in unison with spirit, what's happening to me when I write a lot. And when I write, for instance, I will write divine guidance and will read a sentence. Otherwise, at the same time, divine guidance, or there will be a song which it will say divine guidance. I'm like, okay. And that is spirit flow. And your attunement to all that is in perfect flow. It means you're in a state of non-control, non-separation, just perfect flow with all creation, and you will notice it that way. So when you're asking yourself the difference between the old and the new, so how does the old feel? It's very familiar, you know, it feels familiar, but yet it's kind of yucky. It feels like yucky on the inside. It's like something that prevents you from fully expanding your wings, you know, just flying. It is what holds you back still, instead of moving forward as a completely authentic being of divine love. So the closer we are to this December solstice, which is a very important alignment, I'll make a video about this. So the deeper the awareness is within us, and we desire nothing else, you know, the further we approach it, the more we feel that. We desire nothing else but to just be and express ourselves as a fully authentic living being. And that is what Ascension is about. It's about embodying your I am presence. And one of my most important realizations now was that, like I said before, that I'm not here for others. And it's something really important for you to realize as well as an Ascension pioneer. You've been holding the light for so many energetically, not physically. You cannot live someone else's life. But remember, we're not here for anyone else, although we do share in our journey. We're one. I realize I'm not responsible for anyone. I'm not here to respond to people's egos or requests. I'm here to serve the divine. And if we would come here to either collect friends or enemies, or we would like to please people, you know, if you are living in a way that you want to please people, you will never be happy, because you can never please people. For instance, take the two approach. You would be too kind, and they would say, oh, you're too kind. You're like, ugh, I don't like this. And there's something suspicious about you, you know. A lot of the times I feel that people don't believe that there's such purity on the planet. They have been accustomed so much to non-purity, to believing that everything, you know, is so hard, and they're becoming so cynical that they just don't believe purity when they see it. They just can't recognize it because they don't believe in that mirror for them. They don't believe in that reality. Our reality is always what we believe in, what we feel through our inner knowing. So a lot of them might react in such a way, and you will never please such people who have forgotten. You know, you can only share with the people who also remember. And what I share are just words to trigger your own divine remembers. It's not teaching. It's not something that you can put a price on. It's just something that flows through all of us. It's all of us, you see? So when you feel that, you know you're here for yourself. You know you're here for your unique expression. It's not something to feel bad about. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to fight for yourself. I was doing that sometimes, you know, like, I also deserve to have a life of my own. Believing in that you deserve it already creates separation because you are already a deserving being. It's just whether you will gift this to yourself or not. So for me, I felt that I no longer wanted, you know, I no longer felt in that period like responding to other people's requests and what they want me to do. And the only responsibility I felt then was for myself, my own journey to create a life I really desire from our soul essence, you know. And I decided and I saw that I owe nothing to anyone. We don't, none of us. It's just we owe it to ourselves, everything to ourselves. And I call this mastering of the external world and aligning it with our inner reality. So they're really functioning in a perfect unison as one. And as we shift, like I said, so does our purpose because we are our purpose. I also wrote about 3 simple facts that we have been integrating this entire time. They're anchoring in our awareness very deeply as we are ascending, descending, because at the same time, it's a flux, you know. You reach the level of your I am, you embody it, it's a constant flow. And we've been ascending, descending to our authentic divine self, like I said. First fact, first realization, others cannot influence us on our path and our path unless we allow them to, right? So same goes for external circumstances. We are not passive victims and there is no such thing as fated outcomes. A lot of the people still say, well, it's not easy sometimes, you know, it's just how it is. You know, this is defending the pattern. It's just how it is. Why is it how it is? Start asking yourself questions. Why? You know, even though questions, like I say, they're just a way to remind you of your essence that already is and knows everything. In a way, it doesn't, you know, you're empty. You're an empty vessel. But when you're really in your own knowingness, there are no more questions there. Questions are just a way to help you get there. But when you are in knowingness, all the questions fall away. There's no more need for them, you see? So like I said, it is us and us alone who can govern ourselves, our experiences, and only we choose whether our experience comes from our lower self or our higher self, our ego or our divine self. And our ego is basically just not remembering our divine self. It's not something separate. It's just a state of forgetfulness and then acting from that state and then believing in that state and then allowing that state to govern us. Second fact, every external condition is just that, an external condition, nothing else. It's not the absolute reality. In truth, everything we experience is merely about the experience itself. And we can see the absolute by remaining an objective observer. So the more that we are able to see everything as an experiment and a beautiful play with unknown ending, a script that has no beginning and no end, the more we feel the absolute and our I am presence. Only being is our true divine nature. Third fact, in truth, every aspect of creation, I mentioned this before, already knows itself and where it is on its journey. We do not hold responsibility for another aspect of creation, even though we are always one with all that is. As human beings, we are not responsible for anything or anyone else except ourselves and our unique journey. We can never truly teach or help. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not a teacher myself. I never believed in that word. We can only share. And when it's coming from a real deep spiritual desire to share, not the need to share, it's truly what it's there through our spirit. The experience of oneness always starts within. And like I said, because we're always shifting, continuously changing, we continuously need to do this like a review of everything. We keep to assess, does it still feel right? Okay, maybe it felt right 5 minutes ago, but now it no longer does. Embrace it. You know, you're changing so fast. We are changing so fast. And our purpose is shifting and changing. So everything is changing. The way we do things. Maybe something really felt right, I don't know, a year ago. Now it feels like something that is totally ancient. And we are a purpose. It's not what we do. It's not our job. It's not an occupation. It's not an obligation. It's not employment. It's a divine nature of expressing yourself as an aspect of source This is the nature of creation, while our I am is eternal. So you have the eternal, non-moving aspect, that which is unformless, shapeless, just pure beingness, and then you have the creation part of you, which is your human self. We're merging them. Remember, they're coming together in perfect unison. And everything in creation, it's constantly moving through ebb and flow. Nothing remains the same. It's our mind sometimes that wants to cling on to that old, same old, same old. And the most sacred things are in the unknown, in the mystery. The mystery lies in spirit. We can feel this as a pulsating breath of life in every now moment, in the stillness of that moment. So again, how do we recognize divine guidance, you might ask? Some people think it's not so easy and they say, I don't know the difference, or they ask someone else to confirm that. They ask someone else to help them see that clearer. But in fact, I can share this really simple fact with all of you, and it's really so simple. Divine guidance always speaks through simplicity. It will always feel neutral. You'll always feel peace with it. For all truth comes through simplicity. Truth is not something complicated. For instance, I'm really repelled when somebody would, share with me this channeled message, 4 pages long. I'm like, no, please, no. I write short articles, short sentences. For me, it's about really getting it there as it is, through the absolute reality. No Klingons, no add-ons, just pure core. Look at the nature. It's simple. The simplest things are the most beautiful things, So it's not complicated. It does not make us feel thirsty for more, leave you out to dry. For instance, I give you an example, leave you with the feeling to read more books, to do more research, to see more videos, more external confirmation. That's not truth. That's maybe some guidance, but it's not truth. Our truth aligns us with our own inner knowing. The truth through source will always make us feel this alignment. It makes us feel content, and we can feel a great sense of peace and purpose through it. That is how divine guidance feels and how it speaks to us all, every one of us. This is called sourcing. So what we're doing is we're remaining authentic, we're remembering, we're implying that through direct embodiment, and we're living it, we're sharing it with other beings. We're also deciding to be authentic. That is it, period, So I gave this great example of how something can leave us feeling thirsty for more, or makes us feel like, deeply fear that it's not it. Or on the other hand, it can make us deeply feel ourselves. So for instance, I took the example, I explored the pattern of being polite, because many people still think that this is directly associated with kindness, politeness and kindness are the same, when in fact, it's not. It is a deeply rooted pattern that keeps us in the old, and this way it prevents us from moving forward. It is not coming from self, divine love, which is our true nature. So when we think we're being polite, we act how we think we're supposed to act, or how others might think we're supposed to act. In this way, we can feel pretty emptied out, and this kind of behavior does not nourish our being in this body. If we're choosing to express ourselves freely, we don't feel such a way. So this is how you can notice the difference. Instead, we remain in our truth and feel nourished through our own spirit. It feels really warm, peaceful. Sometimes we might feel a void, like I've been feeling for the past 2 days, because you're releasing. When you're releasing, you feel the void, which is great. Don't hesitate to move into something. For instance, I really wanted to record this video yesterday, but there was this resistance to it. I felt, okay, not the right timing, because I wasn't really excited about it. Today, I was excited about it, and I know it's the right timing. So follow your excitement, And when this nourishment will really feel loving and really just something that is so natural to you. It's just like, oh, yeah, it's like when you go to the toilet. It's natural. It's the same thing. Sorry for such a bad example, but it's just something that came to mind. And because we really don't negate ourselves, when we allow this to be expressed, we don't deny ourselves the experience to just be, in whatever way that is at any given moment. So a lot of the people might say, when you're angry, that's not good, we're yelling at others. Yeah, you can be better. You can act differently. But at that time, know that if you did yell, it was exactly what you needed to experience. You see, there is no judgment here. There is no polarity. So next time you wish to explore your inner realms, I advise you to see how certain behaviors make you feel. The answer will always be in the feeling. Delve deeply into yourself, the capital S, and feel those feelings that, they're your inner compass. You do know, and it is that simple. We are free beings. It's as simple as that. It's about freedom of being. And we're not victims of external circumstances, even though a lot of people still say it's how it is, or they tell you how it's supposed to be, but it's not. You create it. Now we're becoming fully aware of that power. It is so powerful. You know, we have forgotten how powerful we are. We have a choice, and this knowing requires responsibility. And that is something that many still fear. You know, wow, with great power comes great responsibility. It was the saying from a Spider-Man movie, and it's true. So this is not something difficult, although, you know, we're free in every moment, and all it takes is a shift in awareness. So we are releasing, purging the need to do, not good enough, and taking care of others, being there for others, all these patterns, and there's many more. You will recognize them through feeling, like I said. And also, you know, this pattern, things need to be difficult. Oh, it has to be difficult in order to really become enlightened. Basically, you're not becoming enlightened. You're becoming aware of your enlightenment. That's all there is. So we're releasing these things from the collective, and as we are releasing it deep within ourselves, from ourselves, every cell, we are reprogramming it. So this way we are reprogramming these cells of ours with new awareness, that of neutrality, freedom of being, compassion, and self, capital S, responsibility. Where divine love and embodying your true self always brings us the feeling of that freedom. Oh gosh, this is a long video already. I will make another one that will be more focused on what is being released, what is being purged through a lot of the things that resurface also spiritual ego. But before I finish this video, and before I give an example, which I mentioned before, I would like to read also from this card I got yesterday, the card Fertility. This card holds such a powerful message. You know, it's not just about, you know, you have all the aspects. Here you have, if you see it, the tree of life is behind it. There are circles. This means like cycles. You know, when we are releasing things through awareness, we're basically just shifting from one cycle, if we no longer desire it, to another cycle. And we're moving through these cycles. We are reprogramming ourselves. And we are really, like, you know, you would stop writing the old code that is outdated. It's time to reprogram ourselves. And basically, like in a computer program, you start pushing new buttons. You know, you start programming anew by what you choose according to your authenticity. And you see there's great inner light in this photo. And I love the message because it's about self-nurture. It's about really following your inner bliss, your inner fertility. That means that when you are creating from your inner self, you're totally supported by all life. And the message here is, through this card, the manifestation of growth is on the horizon, and growth is emphasized here. You're the creator, and the seeds that have been planted in the past, whether they were happiness, comfort, abundance, prosperity, family, children, ideas, or even thoughts, like I said, we are deserving beings, are now ready to give birth into your world. We do deserve. Be patient as you watch your seeds take root and grow. Nurture them as they become strong and healthy. Open yourself to the life force of the universe. This card also represents femininity and Mother Earth, who is calling to you, to all of us. You know, it's a planet that is becoming really authentic as we are. The arms of her beauty are reaching out. She wants to embrace you on her seashores, mountains, forests, and gardens. Go to her and meet her halfway. Acknowledge that the same energy that makes up for the heavens, earth, plants, animals, and mineral kingdom is also part of you. Start nurturing yourself and infuse your soul with love and compassion. Soon others will see and feel your devotion. And even if they don't, it's fine as well. As you interact with others around you now, or even if you're in the midst of solving a problem, use gentle care and kindness as you handle situations. There isn't any problems. There's just challenges for growth. This isn't a time for you to be inconsiderate, possessive, domineering, forceful, or pushy. Beingness. You see? Act from the loving space of your heart center, which is beingness. The benevolent energy that resides there will assist you in making sacrifices in order to care for and help others as well as yourself. So this is a very powerful card, a message for all of us. I will read Kara's notes, Kara's messages. They're awesome in my next video. They will be more emphasizing on the spiritual ego. It's something that can hold all of us to the different extent, to the different degree. But like I said, it's not about pleasing others. It's not about giving focus externally to nothing, to anyone. So what if others think you're a weirdo? So what if others think you're doing things wrong? You know, I have this amazing adoration for a certain someone who also has a YouTube channel, who's so fearless, who's so really brave to just share. And she was also sharing about how people, you know, interfere with her life and make her, you know, want to convince her that she's doing things the wrong way. And she just said, you know what, I follow my path. I'm true to myself and I don't care. And happens to all of us, because there'll always be those who still forget that the mirror is in oneness, the mirror is in all. We are all holding this mirror for all. And we can either hold a more negative mirror, more positive mirror, and at the end, it's all neutral. It's all divine. I'll see you in my next video, posted very shortly after this one. Take care, beloved pioneers. I love you all. Remain authentic. It's who you truly are, okay? And as an addition to that, I would like to add at the end that as a part of this, my purpose has shifted. I am no longer doing one question readings, but I am giving spirit messages. They will not be shared through anything of the external, only what I feel connects, is coming through my inner connection, through sourcing. It will be a short message that is just there to help you to center better. So if you will check out my services page, it's not even about services, it's something if you're seeking extra additional support on your journey, it's there. If not, it's fine. I'm just sharing my example of how I shifted. How I did it before didn't feel comfortable anymore. It's just, I felt yucky. I felt I did too much for that energy exchange, and I just did things the way it really didn't feel in alignment with my spirit. So every time you have those feelings, like, I share through my own example, know that it's the right thing. Do things the way you want to do that. And we were also guided to transform our entire webpage, because now we're together doing this thing together. And many things will be transforming along the process. There's also a lot of work that is going into that. So if you feel guided to donate, thank you. I really am blessed and I'm honored to share this journey with you. And that's all that it's about. So stay tuned for many changes coming through Ascension Pioneers Community Network, and I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Bye.